Welcome to Judges Training for Poetry Interpretation. In poetry interpretation, students present one or more poems of his own choice that are linked by a theme, such as the author, or love, or dating. The poetry does not need to rhyme, and the student must preface his poems with the name of the poem and the author. Poetry interpretation requires that the student use a manuscript, and they must make visual contact with the manuscript as though they were reading. However, eye contact with the audience is allowed and encouraged. Movement in poetry interpretation is limited to natural gestures. Voice, pace, proper stress, and timing creates the mood and meaning, not acting. Recorded materials or selections that are found on the internet but which are not printed and published are prohibited. Words and characters cannot be changed, though they can be cut. However, the performance must maintain the author's intent. In this event, no time signals are given. You will, however, time the piece in order to provide the student with information about how long the piece took. The contestant has 10 minutes to present the selection and the introduction, with a 30-second grace period. Do not interrupt the student if she goes over time, but do record that information on the critique sheet. If the student goes over the 10-minute time period and the 30-second grace period, then he cannot be ranked first in the round. When the students enter the room, they will give you their critique sheet, also known as a ballot. They will have filled out the top portion of the critique sheet. As they present, you will write on the critique sheet, and you may want to address things like their choice of selection. Are they interpreting the poetry effectively? Is their pronunciation of the words in the piece appropriate? How's their timing? Are they enunciating clearly? Are their postures and gestures effective in the piece? Is their energy level good, and are their vocal and facial expressions effective as they present? In poetry interpretation, monotony of tone or pace is to be avoided. The sing-song poetry reading that we used to do in elementary school is not the way forensics poetry is read. Overemphasis and acting within the poetry is to be avoided. The meaning and mood of the piece should be conveyed. The audience should hear, understand, and feel what the author is trying to convey. When all the speakers are done, then your job as the judge begins. First, you will rank each speaker, first, second, third, etc. Once you've ranked each speaker, then you will score the speakers between 70 and 100, with 100 being best. If there is another judge in your section, work independently from that judge. Do not confer over rankings or scores. Fill the critique sheet out carefully, knowing that students are going to be looking at that critique sheet and trying to interpret what you said in order to improve their performance. Take all the completed materials to the tab room. Please don't discuss the results with anyone until after the tournament. Thank you for helping to judge our tournament today. The students really appreciate your time and energy. We hope you enjoy the experience.